we've still got a lot to explore.
Well, what did Sharkbait's parrot find?
Well, he doesn't really convey it in a sense that like you would think. He just repeats phrases.
Discard that. That's metagaming. Discard that.
He would understand, I think, if it was a man-made structure, which I think was the case. But that's it.
Yeah, he didn't like specifically say he spotted like buildings or anything like that. He just conveyed it that he found something in ways that a parrot can. He like repeats words that he's heard in the past and all that. I think from memory he said like like sticks and stones break his bones or something like that, and other phrases and all that. Can't quite remember.
Well, then Viet would have asked Sharkbait if his birds see anything, or would have asked, "Is your bird a scout?" He'd be like, "Old salty one, old and salty one. Is your bird a scout?"
He'll say, "I, the bird, have good eyes. It reaches beyond that of me own."
And then Viet will just look confused and just say, "What did it see?"
It seems the bird has found structures on the land.
Well, shouldn't we? Maybe we should send a party out to investigate. Leave the wounded at camp and head out.
Well, now we know that this island Oh, hang on. What was the island called? Something about death and dying? Dead Man's Island or something?
Dead Man's Island or something like that.
Super Death Island.
Yeah, and as a sailor, you had heard rumours, but they're not really substantiated rumours. Like in some places, you've heard that it's like an island filled with treasure, and another island that is filled with monsters, and so on and so forth. Not the usual kind of stuff that you would generally hear from other sailors and travellers and all that. So nothing really nothing ever coincides with one another. They're all different.
Yeah, all right.
So
I'll suggest we perhaps take the majority of us, for there may be dangers and the like lurking within these jungles.
Viet will agree and nod, and he'll say you seem more experienced at this sort of stuff than I, so I'll let you organise it.
All I know is it's best to leave some things untouched.
But then Viet goes, but not food.
Not the food.
No, not the food.
Is that bread here?
Yes.
Oh.
Well,
Welcome.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the discussion that was going on.
Fair call.
Yeah, we're remembering how you were saying something about what Red Sand was going to do last session, so didn't want to move on ahead without if you had something to do before we left.
No, Viet's fine.
All that I wanted to do was reveal the book and all the pages that I found so far.
Well, this would be probably a good time to do it. Yes. Like before you proceeded any further in your exploration of this island.
The book just says, "You will die if you travel further."
It's literally a mimic book.
Well, there is kind of that.
You finish after all.
Sorry, what?
Oh, Cory was saying that he wanted to finish early, so I said that we'll finish early after all.
Well, if you turn right there, then yes. Okay, so what I found here, which I actually found the day before we set sail, is the log of the captain's journal of the Calm Delilah.
You have the journal.
I have part of it. I found other pages since we've been here, and it's been a very interesting read. Upon further reading, I've learned that this is not Dead Man's Isle, but the Calm Delilah became. I'm guessing they became wrecked on this isle on their way back from Dead Man's. And that's when shit started to get real for them. They lost a few men on Dead Man's Island.
Like still there?
I'm guessing that those people are still dead.
Oh,
But from what I can tell, since they were marooned here, like, keep in mind this book is about 35 years old.
oh, okay. Now that makes sense.
Yeah. But from what I can tell, it looks like the pages that I found were purposefully hidden to be found. Like, I found some in a box that were buried on the beach. I found a couple in the tent that we ransacked yesterday. Earlier.
Earlier.
Did
it mention at all what they found on Dead Man's Island?
Funnily enough, they have an actual inventory of everything that they, well, for one thing, everything that they left with and everything that they found.
Very prepared.
Interesting.
There could be more than that because there's a couple of pages missing after that. But they found things like a couple of wands, a couple of an idol, a golden casket, some chalices.
I feel like that's the point that Jones would chime up now that there's actual relics and weird mystical things. He says, "You speak of idols. Do they say what they look like?"
It does, to a degree. One of them is made out of emerald, and it's a large idol of a hunched figure carved from emerald found in a tomb on Dead Man's Isle. That's all it says about that, apart from where it was stored in cargo box 28. There's also a statue of a minotaur, which is incredibly lifelike.
Incredibly.
That doesn't sound terribly good.
Barrels of spice, some samples of different plants that they found, various skeletons. Think of different animals and that they came across on the island. The more pressing thing that that the journal has is, Chris, can you please reveal to everybody page 26?
Yeah. Give me a second.
I will open up the journal to the last page and show everybody gathered.
Page 26.
Page 26.
Okie. Did that pop up?
Did on mine.
I can't see anything.
It might be.
Yeah, me neither.
None of mine either.
Yeah.
I'll close that window again.
There we go.
Now I got it.
Yeah.
Yep, got it now.
Excellent. As you can see, on this last page, what's his name? Captain Mitchell looks to be the last person alive, and not for very much longer. The last couple of entries is very much like that, with lines being scribbled out and scribbled all over the place. And what else can I? And it looks like it was the ship's first mate who has been doing most of the damage to them after they landed. Which was flicking back to the crew register at the start. One Viana, no, not Oaken, no, sorry.
Starts with an L.
Yes, there she is. One
Lavinia.
Lavina Wisp.
Lavina Wisp.
And Viet, if you recall, that's...
She was on the name on the cutlass.
Yep.
It seems to imply that she died at some stage, but then became undead. Just flipping back to page 22, I don't believe what my eyes showed me last night. The mutineer, that wench, Lavina Wisp. She emerged from the fog, her eyes bleak, her skin mottled and pale, and a bloody hole where my dagger stuck her. Not alive, but not dead. She laid waste to our camp, cutting down Angus and Damien before vanishing in a sudden rush of icy wind, leaving a number of rotting corpses behind, shambling mutineers from the calm Delilah. They didn't seem to notice me, though I believe that to be work of this sapphire wand. I must bury the bodies tonight. Bury them before they become those things.
Sounds like quite the lady.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that we've already met her.
I was just going to say, I think she's the one on the boat. She was the one that popped up on the boat.
Well, the description that that was in the journal certainly matches the individual the spirit that you encountered on the persistent imperial. So it stands to reason that's quite possibly her.
It sounds like it.
Jones will say, well, it appears you've found your lucky paws on the tome of a curse. And I can tell you that curses lay longer than you wish them to. But I nae think we're going to find a way out of this bind unless we use what's in that book to our advantage.
Most definitely. Early on in their maroonment on this island, he did actually scribble in a map, which is very handy if I can get that one shared with the group as well.
I'll share two versions of it.
Bubble map.
Yeah, that one's fine.
That one's come up?
Yep. Oh, to me.
Alright.
Yeah.
So I will say in general, where if you look at look on the map, where it's in the left side, we got AS and a cross underneath.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where you guys currently are. That's where you've washed up.
Oh, wow.
And so your exploration has taken you to the center of the map.
And that was where the camp was, wasn't it?
That was the remains of the camp. Yep. And so, by the looks of it, there are other locations that that has been since explored. But for purposes of ease, I'll also bring up the other. Oh, that's got nothing on it, so never mind. That's the same map, so it doesn't really.
I'm just thinking that at this stage, I will, like, now that I've sort of read out the more pressing parts of this journal, I will go through it page by page and sort of talk about what is in the journal. So if you can share all of it with everyone,
Yeah.
rather than wasting everybody's time and actually have me read out all the pages.
Yep.
So
what I'm going to do is I'll make it available in your journal. So bear with me. There's a lot of pages.
And it's not even all of them yet.
No, it's not even all of them yet. So so pretty much you now have a more clearer idea of what actually has happened to the calm Delilah. And it's at this point that as Red Sand's been explaining everything that she has read in the actual journal, Captain Akumi kind of steps up and he's like, "You say you found this before we left. So that must mean that someone actually left the island. Does it say anything as to how or who?"
The last entry that I have is was the 7th day that they spent on this island, where it's Mitchell himself by himself. I am alone. They are all dead now. I must finish this. I am so close to finding her. The tide is high now, too high to walk, too far to climb, too deep to swim. I hear scratching from beneath the rocks, howling from beneath the sounds. She is everywhere. The darkness encompasses me. She can see me. I must find it. Sing the song which has been scratched out. Chant the lines of defeat. She must be hidden as I hid the wand. I should hide these pages too. Hide them somewhere safe under lock and key. She mustn't find them. I know where she is. I have her sword and her blasted bag. She came for me again when the tide was high, but I was ready for me, scratched out her. I charged her with defiance in my eyes, and I spoke the words while she burned, and she didn't fade. Her hand was missing. I was so close. I could have killed us, which has been scratched out. I could have finished her. She needs time to recover. I have a brief moment of respite before the madness returns. While she recovers, I have time to find the hand and end this once and for all. No mercy for mutineers, which has been scratched out. This is all on that last page, which is 26.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It mentions something about the hand and something about rocks and the tide, which, looking at this map, there's like a rocky part to the northeast.
Here we go.
I don't know why that's been marked out, but I'm assuming.
I'm thinking that from this point, we can walk around the coastline and check out things that are marked with minimal journeying through the forest.
Well, the path. I'm assuming the general path that we took to get to the camp. Like, I'm assuming the middle bit of the island is where the camp is.
Yeah, that was the camp that you came across.
Yeah. So if we can ascertain that, and we kind of know the path through there, then that might be okay. I don't know. Has it spoken of anything other than the spiders as a threat? Besides
There
the
was lots of
curse?
monsters and that on Dead Man's Island that managed to kill people, but it looks like most of the damage while here was done through mutiny
Hmm.
and Lavina.
Why did they attempt the mutiny?
Probably influenced. They probably influenced by her because on the ship, NPC crew members of our ship started fighting one another. So maybe she possessed one of or multiple of them and got them all fighting and carrying on.
Oops. Hang on, I just for some reason closed out. 1 sec.
That's alright.
That does seem like it could be the case.
So
And
where
we're
are
back.
we to the Dead Man's Island?
Well,
Dead Man's Island is a whole another island nowhere near here.
Yeah.
yeah. What you initially thought that this was Dead Man's Isle, it turns out that no, Dead Man's Isle was a island that the crew of the Calm Delilah had gone to, and then at some point they've ended up on this island, which is a completely different island. There are, that's what you've deduced from the pages of the journal, from what I understand.
Yeah. I thought
Yeah.
I thought that this was Dead Man's Isle because none of the pages specific to this island had been found yet. But yeah, with the new information that I found,
We're all allowed to read these logs, aren't we?
Yeah. He said
Okay.
at this point he's like Red Sands openly showing you the pages.
Okay. So then,
So-
like, Percy's just gonna, like, start talking and just be like, have you guys looked at page 16?
Yep.
I've been staring at this map the whole time.
Yeah, I would say that during this process of like discussing your future plans and Red Sand going through the journal and all that kind of stuff, or the captain's logbook and all that, I will call this a short rest, so you can roll dice to get any health back that you need to do do anything else that your characters might be able to do during a short rest.
I think we should be at full strength anyway
Uh-huh.
because it's been overnight since we went to the camp.
No, you left the camp. You washed up during the night. You slept that night. You woke up the next morning, and then in the morning you explored the island, found the camp, and then by the time you've done all your things and come back, it's about midday or just after.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the middle of the day now. I would say close to around 1:00 p.m. So. Yeah, so the night hasn't fallen again yet.
okay.
So this is technically your first day since you've washed up on this island.
I thought it was like a second day. Oh.
Mm. Well, yeah, you've already had your first night on the island.
Yeah.
Now you're having your first day.
What have I used besides arrows?
Oh, an excellent roll, Elryn. That's what you needed.
I know.
It was like perfect.
Yeah.
So you got a better understanding of what actually happened to the Calm Delilah and her crew, and what's happened on this very island, and why Red Sand's been finding these pages.
Unfortunately, there are 5 pages missing between when they left Dead Man's Island and day 2 on this island.
So that can only surmise that seeing as Captain Mitchell has hidden the pages, that there's got to be more somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you find them, you might understand more about what's actually what was going on, and Yeah, so
Yeah,
at this
so 2
stage,
pages at the very start that are missing.
at the very start.
Yeah,
Yes.
5 and 6.
Yes. It's at this point that actually the captain steps forward, and so I understand, Red Sun, that for whatever reason you felt compelled to keep this book a secret. But now that you've revealed it, I feel that as captain, I should hold on to this book until such time as we need to address any more information onto it. And he kind of like puts his hand out as if waiting for you to hand the book over to him.
I clutch the book to my chest for a moment while I think about this. And then hesitantly start to hold it out to him. And as I do, I say, when we got to that camp, the book itself started to hum and vibrate as I was getting closer to that last box of pages. So
that is useful information to know.
Hopefully that's an enchantment that will work with somebody else holding the book and not specific to me.
Well, we shall find out when time comes to explore more of the island. And he goes there and actually, takes the book from you, grabs the book off you, and do you just let go, or do you a bit hesitant, or?
Oh, very hesitant.
So he's kind of he goes to pull it away from you, just expecting to let go, and he's kind of what are you doing? As you're fighting the urge not to let go.
Yeah.
And then eventually and the book comes out.
To be entirely honest, if I rolled 10 or less, it was going to be full on Golem.
Right, precious.
Very much.
And he just
he like a 1.
Yeah, he takes it from you and moves over to where he's kind of made I suppose it's a captain's desk or something like that. It's where he begins planning things and all that, and he sort of puts the book in a nearby crate that he's got just to hold stuff. And he goes, "We'll keep it safe for the time being. If you find any more pages, bring them to me, and we shall attach it to the book, or keep it with the book."
Question: does it look like the captain or any of the remaining surviving crew that aren't us look like they managed to recover any of their belongings from being washed up?
No, it doesn't appear so. It looks like they're basically carrying what they had on them at the time. The captain still got his sword. That was only because at the time he had it, sheathed. But Koresh doesn't even carry any weaponry, short of a dagger, I believe. I'll just confirm that. And that's the same with Franklin. Franklin was carrying a dagger on his belt. But yeah, they're pretty much just what they got on them, their clothes and whatever they were attached to them at the time is all they've got. Basically, how Red Sand was when she washed up. And let me just use Koresh. There he is. Come on. Yeah, no. Koresh doesn't even have a dagger. He's just basically, if he got into a fight, he'd be bare knuckle brawling.
Well, then I'll suggest we head in one of the directions at least. Because there's no point standing around on the island, because eventually we're going to run out of food.
That is a very good point. Your food stores aren't exactly that great. You've got a good supply of rum. You got a few bottles there, but I don't think that's going to last very long.
It should be very nice and aged, being 37 years old.
I mean, that's I mean, it could be even older. I mean,
Yeah, depending on how old it was when it first went onto the ship.
that's it. So,
So
it does have a very
sort of food rations that was stored kind of not.
Yeah, no, there's not much. It's basically what you've scrounged up during your exploration, plus Koresh and all that were able to, do the same thing, just recover berries, all sorts of anything that could come across. Plus, you've also got your fishing. I mean, Sharkbite wasn't exactly successful, but that doesn't mean that you're going to give up. And being a jungle, there's obviously going to be some sort of wildlife that might be living on the island. So there's always the chance that you find some wild game, and just got to get lucky, I guess.
Well, it will look like Jones is somewhat motivated by, Red Sand reading some of these pages out off of the book and picking up to some of the mysteries and stuff going on in there. And he'll say, or he'll look to the captain actually, because he's still the authority, and he'll say, "What heading ye suggest, Captain?"
Well, it all depends. And he looks and he says, "You said you found a map, correct?" And he kind of actually pulls out the book this time and flips through, and he's got the page open where the actual hand-drawn map is, and he goes, "I think the best thing we can do is retrace Captain Mitchell's steps. Check out each of these marked locations and see what we can find, and see if it can help us escape this blasted island." And then he actually pipes up and he says, "And Mr. Jones, I believe your companion, the bird, said it spotted something. Perhaps that'll be a good starting point."
The bird can take us.
All right. In that case, the five of you head off in the direction the bird leads you. I'll take Koresh and Franklin, and we'll explore the western part of the coastline, see if we can find anything else. Same as before. Be back here in, I'd say, about 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, if not sooner. Report anything you find.
I'm considering whether I send the bird with them.
Well, that's entirely your purview.
Let me think for a second.
Oh, also, Sharkbite, did you actually mention the strange stone arch in the carvings to the others?
No, because I assumed we would go back and see them together.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Or does Percy mention them? Because I think...
Oh, true, because Percy was also there. So would Percy actually speak up and say and mention the archway, with the strange carvings?
I probably would as soon as they came back to the thing, because Sharkbite and I were left behind to have a look at what was there still.
Nope, no worries. So, an additional detail, there were actually 7 carvings. And again, each one was a different state of decay. So, yeah.
All right. I think I'll take the bird with us because I can send it to look for them. If they're when they say the coast, they mean along the shore.
Yeah, right? Along the shore. They're not going in because you guys are going in, so they're going to explore the exterior of the island while you guys make your way in.
So
splitting up in a sense.
Unless something actually happens to them, I could still find them probably. So I'll take the bird with me, and then it can direct us better.
No worries. All right. So after discussing the plan, the groups split. Takumi, Franklin, and Koresh proceed along the coastline in the opposite direction they went last time. The rest of you begin gather your equipment and anything else you need to carry, and Sharkbite, you basically tell your bird to lead the way in however manner that you've trained it to, and it spreads its wings and flies off higher into the sky, and it is your guide. And it actually flies in the direction that you went previously. You basically go back up the path that you cut to get to the middle of the camp. And the journey is a little bit easier now since before, but you get about halfway down the trail, and the journey takes you about the journey so far is taking you about 40 minutes, and then you notice that Salty actually begins to turn away from the path. Actually, okay. So Sharkbite preparing another torch, got it going, and sorry, lost track of. Yeah, it begins to kind of head to the west, takes you leftwards, and you have to start actually cutting your way into the thick brush of the jungle, and it's a lot thicker because this time you're actually before you surmise that the trail that you were going through initially had probably been cut through once before by the crew of the calm Delilah, but now you're actually going through the actual thick part of the jungle, and it's really hard to do. You really have to slash some the leaves apart, large sticks, small trees, just to make a decent enough path to get you through. And it's a hard slog. It takes you about what you surmise to be another 40 minutes just to cut, until you begin to notice you start seeing through the trees and all that an opening, and as you begin to cut more and more and more, you do in fact come out to a clearing. So
these be the times where I wish I still had me legs.
Yeah, especially for old Sharkbite, it is a little bit more difficult for you, considering that you got the peg legs. But you persevere. Sorry, I just gotta. But yeah, so has that popped up? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you come to a clearing, and directly in front of you, and to answer, so you come out from the bottom of the map, and as you come out, you see to your right what appears to be a crudely made structure of stone, like rocks and tree branches and all that have been crudely put together to make some kind of building. And I'll get let me just hopefully Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone wants to try and recognize what the structure kind of looks like, make a intelligence roll.
Nope, definitely not going to try that.
Just straight intelligence?
Yeah, just straight intelligence. Oh.
She's an explorer.
Yeah, an old Sharkbite, seen a few of them in his days, mainly at ports and all that. But just looking at it, it kind of resembles that of like a crudely made looking chapel or something of a religious nature. Whoops, hang on.
It's a chaos cult.
Are there any symbols
Wrong
on
game.
it denoting like faiths?
No, it doesn't appear to perceive any kind of iconography whatsoever. It looks like it's just stone and sticks, but no carvings of any kind. But nearby, you do see what appear to be a number of small, mounds made out of created from stone, like along the front of the chapel.
I mean, those are pretty easily identifiable as burial
and you
sites.
you do see that at the end of each of the stone mounds appears to be some kind of headstone, crudely made, like wooden headstone, basically just two planks of wood made into a cross tied together with like whatever they could find.
Does it look like any of these headstones like have anything on them? Like,
you go to
Memorials.
investigate. There doesn't appear to be anything marked on the actual like headstones or crosses.
Do the stones look like they may have been disturbed?
No, they look like they have been there for quite some time and they have settled. They're actually somewhat caked in sand as well.
Okay, so it's not obvious that something crawled out from underneath it.
No. If you wish to investigate more, either roll a perception or investigation.
well, I was going to check out the chapel.
Yeah, that's fine. This is I would say Red Sands thing, but yeah, at this stage we're saying it just looks like some crude graves that had been made long time ago, and the elements have slowly begun to cover over it, just from like sand slowly covering over the stones. For that one. So there's a total of 7. That one, it doesn't appear to have much. But if you want to check out each one, I'll need you to make an investigation for each of the graves. While you're doing that, Red Sat, this isn't it just like if anyone wants to do something, let me know, because I'm just going off what Red Sat and all that are doing. Yet you're beginning to move a bit further in. Percy and Elryn, you're kind of holding back, just observing the area.
I think Viet would go over and sort of shadow Sharkbite, because Viet might be an idiot, but he would recognise that Sharkbite seems to know what he's doing, so he'd probably stay close by.
Yeah, no worries. So Sharkbite, you're actually making your way into the building itself?
Yeah.
Okay. So you make your way into the actual the chapel itself, and you can see that at the back of the chapel sits a solid stone altar, is the best way you can describe it. And you see crudely carved along the exterior of on all sides of the altar appear to be flowers. Just you can't really differentiate between any of them. They all look similar in design and all that, but you can recognize them as flowers. And you notice at the top of the altar is a 1-inch lip that kind of surrounds, that sits around the altar. And it looks like the actual top half of this altar can be removed just from looking at it. And
More of a sarcophagus.
No, it's too small to be a sarcophagus. I would say it.
A quarter sarcophagus.
Yeah, I would say it's. Oh, I don't know.
It was maybe you could say it was a
Computer desk size, I suppose, depending on the size of the computer desk. But
A child's sarcophagus.
that's exactly
I
what
say, I say a meter by a meter.
All right.
And
a newborn sarcophagus then.
Well, you surmise that it could be sarcophagus. You don't know, but you do notice on the top of it is the impression of a open hand.
And that was the last thing. I'll go to take a step forward, but then stop for a second and then look at the two behind me, Percy and Viet, and say, "You best be on your wits. We don't know what curses lie upon all that surrounds us, and we know how curses be treating us."
Yep, okay.
And I'll hesitantly step forward and do the thing that you're never supposed to do in D&D and
Touch something.
investigate the stuff, yes.
Touch it. Reach out and touch something.
Oops. So you actually, if you're going to investigate it, yeah, roll investigation roll, or your investigation involves something else. Does it involve?
Well, I was specifically going to see if the lid had any give.
Yeah, just you give it you begin, because you can actually put your fingers underneath the lip of this of the top of the altar, but you pull it up, it doesn't budge. You try and kind of push it and move it. All your attempts at actually moving the top half of this altar doesn't yield any results. It's like,
Does it look like there's any scripture on it? Any bindings, any curses, any that kind of stuff?
aside from the images, like the great engravings of the actual flowers, there didn't appear to be any kind of like writing or anything of that nature. To
Would I roll an arcana to see if there was magic runes or something disguised into the flower pictures and stuff?
yeah, making an arcana roll.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Baby flowers, crudely drawn flowers.
So no give at all.
Nah.
Which, for a small thing like this, even as an old, shriveled man, there should be like give. I might not be able to lift it, but I should be able to wiggle it, right?
None whatsoever.
So something's sealing this.
Sealed tight. Yeah.
I'll look back. Oh, hang on, no, there's the hand thing on top.
Yeah, it's an impression of a hand.
Does it look like it would
Oh,
depress anything or like trigger something?
It looks like it's been carved into the actual top of the altar. It looks like it's designed for. It could actually fit a hand in there.
But does it look like if a hand went in there, it would do anything?
You think of it as like the actual top of the altar is flat, and then the actual impression on the hand is like as if someone's like pushed their hand in, like dug out the stone so that the hand would sit in there.
What? Well, I already lost 2 of me limb. What's 1 more to go? I'll put my hand in to see if anything happens.
Nothing happens.
So, firstly, red sand, nothing to find. It seems like the first gravesite you've come across nothing, just more sand and stonework.
Yep.
So I would say while Sharkbite's doing this, you've actually begun to go around and investigate. So this is all transpiring at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you want to do the others, you make a investigation for each.
what's remaining? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
Yep.
that last one over there, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Jeez, those are some
Wow.
So at every point and every grave site that you've come across,
These
each
be
one
some
of
graves.
them, they're just crude poor man's graves.
Well, that's all your bad rolls done.
None of them seem to yield anything. They all just look like they've been there for quite some time.
Is this a grave over here?
Hey,
Is this a grave over here? Like
this one here.
No, here.
That's just a bit of it looks like just a crude piece of stone that most likely could have broken to either do the graves with or be part of the construction of the building.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So, Red Sand, you've just gone and investigated all the grave sites, haven't really found anything to identify who they might be from the graves. And then, Sharkbite, as you put your hand in the impression, it feels warm to the touch.
Do a wisdom saving throw.
Nothing happens yet.
Yeah.
After a few seconds of just waiting, you hear this loud sort of like thundering like crash, just like it's almost like a sound of a cannon fire, and it just reverberates through the entire area. Red Sand, you even hear this, and it's actually loud enough that it displaces the actual air. You feel just a sun rush. And then after a few moments, you begin to hear like these like crackling noises, and it's coming from behind you in the direction of the graves. Red Sand, as you begin to look around and see where this loud booming noise come from, you hear the stones basically beneath, like in front of you, begin to shift and move. And then
fucked the graves up before.
and then you see like these like fingers start coming out of the actual stone and begin to push the stone actually away.
Yeah, I'll be stabbing that thing right now.
Okay, just give me a sec. I gotta. It's like, get away from me, you bastard! I just gotta fix something up. 1 sec. I just gotta. Bear with me. Oh, come on. Nope. Yep.
Actually, what I will have actually done as soon as the stone started to move.
Yep.
Using tabaxi speed and dashing if that's what's required. Over here, up the tree, onto the roof.
Okay, so
Bow
as
draw.
soon as you start seeing these like these fingers coming through and all that, you take a strike. Is that your plan?
Nah.
Or you're not going to worry about it?
Run as soon as it starts happening.
All right, cool. So you all turn in the direction of where you hear the stones and all that, and you do see.
Also, I'll call out to the others. They're coming out of the stones.
Yeah, basically, you just hear Red Sand like screaming at the top of her lungs
From above.
They're from above. They're coming out of the stones, and one by one, each of the stone mounds begin to just come apart, and these undead creatures or zombies just start coming out. And
then
that,
Viet's going to look over to Sharkbite and say, "What are those things? What are they?"
Seems we have woken the sailors that have come before.
Yep. So you mean they're dead?
Well, they may be living anymore.
And Viet looks confused.
Oh my
Well,
Catchphrase
while you're
time.
postulating this, I'll get everyone to roll initiative, and don't forget just to have your token selected before you before you click on your initiative, or it will not register it. Go zombies! Yay!
Yay.
Go zombies! Damn it!
Oh, okay.
Damn it.
Come on.
Oh, Percy! Finally.
Jesus.
Um,
My initiative's not working. Hang on.
Oh,
It's fucked. If I can't end up rolling initiative, could I get someone else to roll initiative for me?
Yeah, just give me 2 secs.
Vite's still the one character I don't have access to.
Yeah, me neither.
This is fucked. I hate technology. Hey, kid.
I know, I can click Sharkbite. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have access to Viet or Elryn. But anyway, I need to step away for a few minutes.
Yep.
If my turn comes around,
Whoa.
what I'm planning on doing is just I have an action surge. I will basically just loose 2 arrows into whichever zombie is the more threatening.
Sure.
If I'm not back.
Yeah, it looks like all your initiatives and all that you've been trying to get working has all come up once. I'm going to take the first one you've rolled. So
He does the
Okay.
anime move and attacks like 7 times at once.
yeah, and then all happens at one time. So
Look at that. I even managed to sneak in a bloody pike attack. How fucking awesome.
there you go.
Magic
Man. So
Lucky you didn't take the last one.
lucky I didn't take the 4.16.
Lucky you didn't take the 21.16. That would have been great.
Or the 22.16.
Yep.
All right, so Elryn, you turned and you see these undead creatures just start coming out of their stone graves. Their bodies
yes.
Desiccated, diseased, and partially decayed. Or each of them in different states of decay. One's missing its jawbone, another's missing its arm, and it's you can just see that it's entire stomach area is just exposed, and bits of its organs have already dried and kind of flopping out. And they all each look at you as if your dinner.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm going to back up, and Elryn will crouch and lay her hands on the ground, and she is going to cast. How do I click on this? But not vines. It will probably be what did I do last
Seaweed.
time? Yeah, seaweed. Yeah.
Coral.
Nori whip. Nori sheep whip.
Ground in a 20-foot square, starting from the point within range. All right, so
can I put it?
need a random
5,
token.
10, 15, 20. Can I put it here?
You can draw, so you know the top
can I?
left of your screen. There's a
Oh, draw
paintbrush.
shape.
Yeah.
Draw a shape.
Oh no, I started in the wrong spot. How do I get rid of that?
You can select it with the select bit. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. One sec. So 20 foot, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So like this, I think. Is that right?
Stretched on one side.
Oh, I did too, didn't I? I cheated. Hold on. Wait a minute.
So there's you trying to entangle these 3 zombies.
We'll do it. Yeah. There.
There? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, so you touch the ground and magical energy throws through your arms into the ground, and after a few short moments,
Seaweed.
all this seaweed begins just to pop out of the ground directly beneath the 3 zombies directly ahead of you. And they kind of wrap around their legs and all that with firm grasp.
Yeah, they have to make a DC saving throw not to be entangled. My DC is
So
pretty
a creature
bad.
in the area when you cast a spell must make a strength save, throw, or be restrained. Okay, so this is if I want to move out of there or something, correct?
Yes.
Oh, no. Or restrained by
When you
intent.
cast it, and then
Okay, so I've got to make a
if they
strength
wanna
save.
leave.
Yeah, so I've got to make a strength save for each of them. Bear with me.
Yeah.
1,
And it's
2,
difficult
3.
terrain. Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Whoa!
Most
Yay,
powerful zombies in existence.
Yeah, I would say they gripped onto what was left of the skin, and the actual skin just kind of slips off.
Wait,
So
zombie.
they've actually got the skin, but not the actual zombie. But yeah, it counts as difficult terrain, so they're not quite out of the woods yet.
Cool.
Is that it for you, what you wish to do for Elryn?
Yep.
Alright, cool. So, Percy, you just look over and you see these horribly diseased, germ-ridden bodies. Their body, like some of them, you can see the actual maggots kind of infested their eye sockets and coming out of their skin, their little wormies. What do you do?
I am trying to see. I'm going to move out here. Okay, 25. And then I'm going to try and aim at this. Oh, I can't click it, but the one that's like the top
This one?
right of the 3.
So this one here?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
I'm going to try and use. So if I had I assume that like I can grab my longbow. Is that correct?
Yeah, you would say that you put your battle axe away and pull out your longbow. This is even before you've actually moved forward and you got there already, so you can shoot with your longbow.
Okay, cool. And I'm just going to take a shot at him.
Yep.
I just have to click it, don't I? That's all I have to do.
Yeah, you would click it first, just the actual weapon. Make attack roll. Yep. And if it hit, which it does, then you actually
Damage.
click on the word longbow, and that'll roll your damage for you.
Oh, you just click it again.
Yeah, just click it in. See underneath where you've rolled. See how you got
Yeah,
22, and you got the word longbow. You actually, yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I clicked the other
That's
one.
alright.
I was like, I don't remember doing that last time.
That's 21 damage. Jesus Christ. I'd be scared if that was the case. Cool. All right, so you do.
Watch me get a shit roll next time because I just got 2 20s.
That is the nature of all things. So you pull back on your bow, you let loose an arrow, and you seem to get a nice big fleshy part directly in its chest. Doesn't seem to kind of react in pain or all that. It's just more like the impact of it's kind of pushed it back for a second.
Yep. I was aiming for the head. I'll do that next time.
Yeah, gotta go up a little because your angle of attack is a little bit higher because they're taller than you.
I'm very short, yeah.
So, all right, cool. So after which the zombies begin kind of like shambling in your like group's general direction. Cool. Alrighty. So these 3 actually. What's the movement zombies? So 20 feet. Ugh. So
Oh yeah, me dead.
5,
Not necessarily.
10, 15, 20, 10,
Why am I always at the back?
15. You're at the altar, man. You started all this shit. 10.
I knew
15,
something would
20,
happen. It's D&D.
10, 20.
I was expecting it to explode out of the altar, though, and not just, like, kill everybody in the back.
So you're just trying to figure out the altar, and then behind you all these zombies rise and just have no idea what's going on.
You just start pressing the handprint. Oh no.
Yeah.
Off
Yeah.
button, please.
It's like, maybe if I take my hand off, it does nothing. Yeah, so that's all the zombies can do. 2 of them are... Oh, wait, I was supposed to do a strength save, correct, for them to leave, correct?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Shit,
Well, the
okay.
one failed.
Wait, what?
Well, wasn't her DC 11?
This plan.
So I got 20, 21, 14. That was for the initial one. But now, because 2 of them have left, the plan was for them to...
No, they don't roll for moving in it. It's just one.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. So they're all fine. So that's right.
Yeah, it's just difficult terrain. That's
Okay. I'm reading. Sorry, I've misread it. I was reading the bit where I have to strengthen it, but that's only if they were initially restrained, which they weren't. So
yeah.
they can just leave. So there's still one kind of.
Delete your square for confusion, Natasha.
That's all right. Leave it there. It's fine. It kind of helps me. It kind of helps me judge like how far I got to go before I'm actually free from it. So, but yeah.
I mean, there's. Oh no! Hang on. Yeah,
there's still one more.
It leaves the difficult terrain. Never mind.
Yeah, it leaves the difficult terrain. So that's why these ones didn't really get that far. Because if they were walking normally, Percy would be food by now.
Hey,
Yeah.
You're a hero.
So yeah, that's it for the zombies. Viet, you look over and you just see these shambling bodies just making their way towards all of you.
Yeah.
Still not really understanding what these things are, but yeah.
All right. Well,
dangerous.
even though Viet wouldn't particularly understand what they are, he would still be able to sense that there is some urgency and that they are dangerous. So Viet will move. Hang on. To that one.
Yep.
And then could I get someone to do a pike attack for me on this one there?
Which one is it? That one? Okay.
Yeah. So could someone roll a pike attack for me, please?
Yes.
Fine.
I'll take that. Oh, it worked for myself anyway. Cool. Awesome.
Oh, there you go.
Wow, so it's unfucked. It's unfucked itself. Yep, Viet will poke the zombie with his big long stick.
Okay. Does a pike have a range? Does it?
It's got reach.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got reach. Okay.
It's literally a 10-foot pole with a pole
Okay.
on it.
Yeah. So you hit this one, and you pretty much just freaking straight through it. What am I doing? I've just shrunk the screen.
Undead kebab. Undead's kebab.
Not quite. Far out. Brain not working. But yeah, you basically pierce right through it, and it just kind of like stammers for a sec, and it kind of looks down at the pike, and then it just like looks at you, and it doesn't even look like it's pain. It's just kind of starts to reach up.
And that's it for Viet.
Cool. Old Sharkbite.
Well, I don't really know what to do about this situation. There's a bit of concern there because I caused it incidentally. Can I look at the thing that I pressed? Did it change in any way?
No.
Does it look like the lid can move at all? If I just bump up against it, does it
You can try.
slide at all? Well, I'll just use my whole body and just like
Yeah.
bump it a bit, see if it.
No, it doesn't move at all. It doesn't even like nudge a little. It stays put.
All right. Well, I feel like that's a lost cause for the moment, so I'll hobble my very slow movement up towards the rest of the group.
Quick question. Old Sharkbite's got peg legs for feet. Does he wear boots?
No.
No, he's just purely basically. He's just
I don't know.
basically.
The physics of that probably wouldn't make sense either, but it would be.
Well, it would be funny. It'd be weird because now I'm just imagining because the floor, the floor in the chapel is like stone. So I'm just imagining it's like.
Yeah, it makes loud clacking echoes.
Yeah.
I just pictured like little boots on the end of the peg legs.
Little boots. Yeah, that's got to be a thing now. If you survive this, use some of your treasure to buy your little some little booties.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, since I can't really think from that far away, 1, 2, 3. I'll just move up a little bit more. That's my turn.
Okay, so next is Red Sands. He's talking about action surge, correct? I kind of missed that bit. I remember him saying that action surge. So I hate it when I miss what he was saying. So let's see, action surge. So what's the? You can push yourself on your turn. You can take one additional action on top of your regular action and a possible bonus. Okay, so I'm assuming Red Sand's going to use his her bow and arrow or longbow and shoot at one of the zombies, the nearest one that's hurt, and then do an action surge and do it again. I believe that's. Yeah. Cool.
You got it right.
Action surge, 2 attacks, longbow, and most damaged. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. So action surge can happen after your normal turn, yeah? So
Yeah.
Red Sand can do his not her normal turn and then declare action surge and then do it again. Oh, okay.
We get 2 actions.
Alright, cool. Alright, so I'm going to say that there's 2 there that have been damaged. The one that Percy did and the one that Viet currently got piked. They're both equally damaged, so I will just choose the one. I don't know.
Why not both?
Mighty Mo.
Oh yeah, I can. True. Yeah, you make a good point. All right. So the initial attack, the first general normal attack, is Red Sand's going to shoot this one. We'll try to. So let's see how this goes.
Hoi!
Damn. Okay. So that's so it perched on top of the remains of the roof on this chapel. Longbow takes aim. Shots clear and true. And it seems to go straight through one of the zombies' like eye sockets and kind of comes out the other end. Not a kill shot, but yeah, almost a kill shot. Okay, so because he's going to attack obviously the one that's most damaged, he's going to make another strike on the same one. He's going to use his her action surge and do it one more time.
These things be durable.
Hits again. This appears to be the killing blow. It goes straight through. Yeah. So yeah. So. Okay, cool. So plus 5 DC 5. So okay. So the red sand arrow strikes the center of the zombie skull. You can see it definitely is a killing blow. It looks like it's about ready to fall on itself. And it begins to combo on itself, and then at last moment it stops, and it just cricks what's left of its head, like skull, like face, and looks at you. It is still alive, for a better word for anything. It hasn't died. Gotta love that undead fortitude.
Oh dear.
No, so back up the top of the initiative. Elryn. The undead's getting closer. You see one that looks like it's almost about ready to collapse, but manages for some reason to hold on.
Is that the one closest to me?
This one's fine. It hasn't been hurt at all.
Oh.
It's this one up here.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't really want them to come closer. I will probably back up a bit. This is 5, 10, 15.
It's a shame shotguns aren't invented in this time.
Can I hold my action so if one of them gets in range of my reed whip?
And how far? What's your range on your whip?
That is a good question. Let me double check.
Because I got a feeling you might already be within range.
7 kilometers. You're always in
how do I-
range.
where is it?
So from where you are
wait,
to where it
30
is,
feet.
so it's already in range.
Yeah, never mind. I thought I was out of range. Shh. Okay. Then I will attack the one that's been hit a lot already.
Yep.
Um,
So seaweed wrap with.
yeah, seaweed wrap.
Make it melee.
8.
It hits.
What?
Yeah, they're durable, but they're not strong. They don't have any armor. And then you just see but what's really cool about it is it actually kind of wraps around what's left of the zombie skull, and you just kind of pull the whip back, and it just it pretty much pulls it in half. The top half comes with you, but the other half stays there, and it just it just collapses to the ground.
Nice.
Dead again.
Can't survive headshots. It's the zombie rules.
Well,
We're playing State of Decay.
And that's my turn.
cool. All right. So Percy, you just see this whip just come up to the left of you and just take out this undead, the zombie in front of you, taking half its head back away with it, and it just drops in front of you. Suppose dead again is the best optimal word to describe. What do you do now?
Can I swap back and get my battle axe?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to move 5 to this old mate and try and slash him. I obviously don't want to get his head, but I'm short, so just wherever I can slash.
Well, you can actually make an attempt on its head if you want.
Yeah, so I'll just try and cut his head off if possible.
Yeah, and if that's what you want, it is a difficult task, but you can make an attack on its head.
All right. See
You're
what I
like
can do.
helicopter above yourself.
Yeah, you take a swing at the undead's head, and the axe, you can't actually physically reach it. You're just too short. If you just see this blade just go. I would say it's like an arm length from the edge of the blade to the actual zombie's head.
And then I'm just gonna sort of brace myself for his attack and just have my shield ready, I guess.
Yeah, you're just closing your eyes, bracing the shield, waiting for this attack. All right, next is the actual undead's turn. 20. 5, 10, 15.
Oh boy.
Alright, so Percy, the zombie directly in front of you that you tried to attack now makes an attack on you. It's not armed with anything, it's just got its decaying hands, and it tries to actually smack you, like hit you. Let's see how we go. Come on.
It's like a pimp slap.
Yeah, basically. For a 19?
Yeah, it hits.
Alright, so it kind of, because you're bracing yourself, but because it is like literally leaning over you, it's actually able to reach over your shield and just rake across the top of your head, dealing 4 bludgeoning damage.
Right.
It's like whack.
A little scalp massage.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, touch me.
And now, Viet. You got a whole bunch of these guys coming towards you. You've got the one that you piked before. Now it's moved, took a step towards you. Then you got the other one on your right that's come towards you. So the one that you piked before is going to take a strike at you.
Yeah.
Does.
Yeah, that hits.
Rolling freaking awesome today. So you get 4 bludgeoning damage from that, as it just kind of gives you the old backhand. Because it's moving, its motion is actually causing it to flail its arms, and it just smack, hit you across the face. Then the other one comes in beside you. You look over just in time to.
15 does not hit.
So you look over and see this other one come towards you, and you're a bit bleary-eyed from being, bitch slapped from the other zombie, but you're able to move at the right time and avoid the other attack. So that is it for them. Viet, you're now almost. You're being attacked from 2 sides.
That's alright. As Viet will use a bonus action, and he's going to go into a quiet state of rage. Because he's frustrated that he doesn't know what these things are, and that they're hitting, and that they're trying to attack him, and they're slapping him.
Yep.
So he's going to get angry and rage because he's frustrated.
Sure.
Could I get someone to do a pike for that one right there in front of me?
Oh, I thought you could do it because you did the damage roll.
I don't want to risk it.
Oh, okay.
Technology's fucked.
Like, 16 does hit.
Alright, cool. Can you roll the 8 piercing. Yep. Okay. So that's.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah, but sorry. That'll be 10. That'll be 10 because of his rage.
Oh, so.
Yeah. Sorry. So he does 10. Yep. 10 piercing.
Alright. So, yeah, you just absolutely filled with rage. You just strike at the closest one, and you basically are point blank at it, and you just almost destroy it with your next attack. Huge chunks of its body just get cleared, come off. Its jaw just gets smashed aside. One of its arms is gone. You crush a number of its ribs. that kind of damage could have killed a normal man, but this thing is not normal, and he just like looks at you. His tongue, it's like dried up, like remains of the tongue, kind of lips that like just drops out of what's left of his mouth and just hits the ground in front of you. But he's still sitting there or standing there.
All right, cool. That's Viet's turn. I've got to go for like a minute or so. Not even that. I'll be back in a jiff.
Cool. Sharkbite.
Alright, go punch some zombies or something. What can I do? Not really very much. I will. Actually, can I even walk up that far? I can get there. Okay. I will hobble over here to the zombies and assail them somehow. Actually, you know what? I won't do that. I'll do something probably more useful to me. I will cast. Does it actually take? All right, so I'll pull out a little like tiny little parchment roll, like an inch wide, and unfurl it, and it's got some weird little scriptures and stuff on it, and I'll seemingly try and read those out loud quickly, and some smoke sort of pours off the words on it, and I'll cast Blade Ward.
Cool. You cast some Blade Ward.
That's it. Then I'll look at them and be like, come face me, you damned creatures. We'll return you to where you belong.
Okay, cool. What does that do again? Cory, what does the Blade Ward do? Yeah.
It's when they attack me. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I'll post it at some point. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just post it on the chat, at least I know what the hell it does. There we go. Oh, okay, cool. Alright, so Red Sand, perched at the top of this the remains of this chapel. The zombies are moving in. You've already taken out one with your bow and arrow.
Yep.
But the others have begun to get closer, dangerously closer to your compatriots.
Okay, which is the next?
The one that Viet was fighting.
That
one is the one that's in that's like, I suppose, bloodied. If you can call it a zombie bloody.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So again, you let loose an arrow straight at it. You hit it true right in its skull. Alright. So you see it, like its head finally just like crick back, almost like the skull almost coming clean from its neck, and then it just kind of limps forward, and you see the actual arrow stuck half, like protruding out of the skull. It doesn't fall. It kind of then looks up at you.
These things are actually annoying.
Yeah. So, yeah, you almost got it. Unfortunately, because you used action surge last time, she used action surge. I don't think you can use it again, correct?
No, I can't use it again until a rest of some description.
Okay. So, Elryn, Getting closer.
Yes, I am going to attack the one that's next to Percy.
This one here?
Hopefully not attack Percy. Yes.
Sure. Yes! You don't want that to happen. Hey, you hit it.
Yay! Okay.
Well, you hit it. Oh.
And 2 damage.
I guess if the creature is large or smaller, you pull the creature towards you. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Fearing hitting your comrade Percy, you kind of like go a little bit wide. You do hit it, but it's more like it just like hits its shoulder and it kind of flinches for a sec. But yeah, it does barely anything to it. So.
And then I'll probably just move. Yeah, just there.
No worries. All right, Percy, you're looking up, seeing the zombie kind of like looking at you like lunch. You see this like whip come over you, hit it in the shoulder, but it doesn't really look like it done much. What do you do?
Percy's gonna try and go smashy again. With the battle axe, and I'm going to try and get his head again, but I don't know, just try and hit him.
Sure. Go for it. All right, roll your damage.
Oh, yay! I saw 2 and I was like, oh god, I'm lucky that wasn't me.
You didn't see the 3 afterwards. All right, let me see. Oops, wrong bloody thing.
Can I also use my action surge as well? Or do I have to say that before?
Have you got action surge? Have you?
Yeah, on 2nd level.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, come on. Alright, so won that action surge back because you, in a fit of frustration, you just scream, put all your mind to this one battle axe swing, and you just cleave his head straight off.
Cool.
And you just see this head go flying in the air, and the body just drops to the ground.
That's good. So does that action surge not count then, or can
No.
I use that one on the other dude?
Well, you can. You can use that on the. You'd have to move forward to do it,
Sure.
but yeah, if you wanted to do that.
Wait,
But I
was
have
it
to
not already 2 attacks?
No,
Yeah.
she attacked it with the first one.
And it died.
That she passed all the things
one
necessary.
killed okay.
It pretty much cleaved its head off and straight go.
Sorry, I misinterpreted.
Yeah. I'll explain later. But she took it out in one blow. And then, she did that before she used the action surge, so it still, in a sense, exists.
Yeah, fair. So would I have to re-roll for the second one? Or can you use my roll if I just move forward?
Because of how cool that first attack was, I'll keep the action surge. So you step forward, still, a bit angry about what's transpiring.
Always a little bit angry when zombies come and attack.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you did hit the second one's head, but it wasn't enough to repeat the same previous action. So it's like that. You've more cut a deep gash in its throat.
Got a starting point.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, All right. So after which, the zombie kind of like looks down at you, and he just like basically just raises a hand at you and just tries to hit you back.
Don't eat the half, man.
Oh, yeah,
Does-
it hits.
Hits you on a 20 and does
Oh
4
boy.
bludgeoning damage.
That's alright. And I'm just gonna I guess when something's icky and you wave your hand, I'm like, touch
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, pretty much. You got all this like slimy goo all over your face, and it's just like you're about ready to go have a panic attack. You're like, I need a brown paper bag. I'm going to hyperventilate. But yeah. 5, 10. Oops, no, that was 10, 20. Alrighty. So, this is going to be interesting. Let's see. So, let's see. Zombie up here is going to try and attack Viet.
Yep.
Try to is the optimal word. Not with an 8. But then the one that's pretty much got the arrows stuck in its head is then going to try and do the same thing. It's not really focused on you. It's just now more of a instinctual flailing. It's just swinging at anything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's in your direction, which doesn't hit. The one behind it is going to take a swing at Sharkbite. Whoops, I roll. What the? I roll for initiative. Why the hell did that happen? Let's try this again. Does a 13 hit?
It doesn't now.
Doesn't? I thought it was just resistance on.
No, that's something different. So
Okay.
basically, it looks like it's going to hit, and it probably should hit, but it just stabs somewhere that's ambiguously like in the coat of Jones and seems not to pull out any damage.
Okay. All right. Now this one here.
My armor class is 15 now, for reference.
Right. Gotcha. This one here is going to try and do the same thing. Take a swing at old Sharkbite. Not with an 8. That is really unsatisfying. All right. So now the zombies are done. Viet.
Okay. Once again, could I get someone to do a pike attack? And
So
I'll
you're
be
going to say a
attacking.
pie attack.
No, not a pike attack, but I'll be.
Oh,
I'll be-
fine,
yeah.
yes.
As you do, carry around some clown weapons.
Yeah. Didn't
Nice.
even need to do the damage because it was on 1 health. So, it's just it wasn't really able to stand up to much more, and you pretty much just twist your pike even, and it just drops in front of you.
Yeah. And
So
then Viet will then to get the undead off his pike. Viet will just shake his pike viciously, and sort of shake the zombie off it, hoping that it just shake it off. You know, when you get like something stuck on your shoe, or
Yeah.
like if you get a booger on your hand, you're just trying to flick it off.
Yeah.
Yep, something like that.
So after shaking the pike around a bit, it just kind of just slides off into a heap in front of you.
Yep, and that's it for.
That's it for you.
Yes, it is.
Alrighty. So Sharkbite. These zombies have already taken us attempted to attack you, but both seemingly failed.
I'll walk further into the middle of them so that I seem like the moving target. And whilst doing it, I'm not really concentrating on much else. I'm just rereading, like continuously chanting whatever this, these strange ritual words are that's written on this piece of paper, and this little bit of smoke is coming out from the ink that's on.
Yep.
That's all I'm doing.
That's all you're doing? Cool. Is that this same Blade Ward spell?
Yeah.
Okay. Red Sand. You've been pretty good so far. You've almost taken out 2 zombies, but they seem to be stubbornly holding their own. What is it going?
You hold these arrows.
Yeah, like there we go. Longbow. This one here.
I see it repeated.
Okay. Yep. So it does hit and does 6 damage. This time you hit the actual chest area of this undead, and it takes out a huge chunk of it, and the actual arrow just goes and hits and like stabs in the ground behind it.
Very nice.
And it kind of like reacts, like flinches in the same manner, like from the impact of the arrow, it actually causes it to move in a certain direction, confirming that you have hit the target. Nice. I'm assuming that's all for Red Sands. So, Elryn.
Yeah. I think I will attack the one that's here on this side of Sharkbite.
No worries.
Keep Dirk.
Hit him.
Hey.
You'll hit him. Or it.
Oh my god.
Oh no!
You take off his pinky finger. That is already half coming off anyway.
Like, you know when you go to the beach and there's the seaweed and then you like aren't looking down and you step on it unexpectedly and it's just uncomfortable?
Yeah, it freaks me out. Seaweed's freaky, man. I hate seaweed.
So it's just uncomfortable now.
Yeah. One uncomfortable damage.
Yeah, minus the pinky. So you just
that's my turn.
Yeah. So Percy,
Yeah.
Yes.
what do you want to do?
I'm just going to try and get the one that hit his head. So I can't click on it. And I'm going to try and get that indent I got last time and try and chop his head off.
Sure. Go for it.
No.
Okay. Yeah, nah, it's... You go for the swing, and just, like, for a split second, it almost seems like it knows what you're trying to do, and it just kind of just drops its head back at the right moment, and the axe just hits dead air, doesn't hit anything. And then it just sort of, like, snaps back. And when actually, funny enough, like moves its head back, you actually see the gash that you inflicted before just kind of open up even wider, and then it just like snaps back at you. One of the eyeballs almost like comes out from the force of its head dropping. Yeah, it's very unsettling to see. It's like, it's not so much the visage of it, it's more like what kind of diseases he might be carrying. Like, you know, kind of a lot like all the germs and that he might be carrying.
Yeah, it's going to like turn my head to the side, and, you know, like you squint your eye and like wince your mouth a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. You're trying your best not to throw up at the sight. But because you do that, you're not paying attention to it. And he tries to take a swipe at you. But doesn't hit?
Doesn't hit.
Okay, so luckily his aim was a bit off, and you do feel like the sudden rush of air over the back of your head, and you know that it just tried to attack you, but obviously it wasn't. You were like low enough to avoid the attack. So
Being short pays off.
it does. Oops, no, I can't move. Right. This one up here, the one above Viet, is going to take a swing at Viet.
Yep.
22 to hit.
Oh, yep, definitely.
It hits you for 4 damage, 4 bludgeoning damage.
Yep. Yep. Cool.
Alright, so the other 3 that are surrounding Old Sharkbite, each are going to try and make an attack on him. First, the one directly above Old Sharkbite. Nut misses. Then the one directly below Sharkbite. Oh, I just realised they're flanking. Oh well, this time I will. Which misses terribly. And then the final one, kind of like this one here. There we go. Tries to hit. Oh man! And taste, my zombies are getting salty. But each of them seem. It's unfathomable. This old dude is fighting off 3 zombies, and not one of them has managed to even inflict any damage on him. It's just crazy.
I imagine he's just standing there reading the note thing, and they're trying to swing, but like he takes small steps here and there, and they just swipe through his coat and stuff.
It's that's the thing. It's just like I said, this old dude is just like he shouldn't be surviving this, but whatever reason, these zombies just can't get purchase on him. It's just infuriating. If a zombie could show, dissatisfaction and anger, they would be showing it right now. It's rather narky. Viet. So having dispatched one previous zombie, you've got the other one that's just pretty much hit you for 4.
Yeah. Alright, cool. And Viet will retaliate by piking that one.
Sure, go for it.
If someone could do a pike attack for me.
Pike.
Yeah. No.
It hits. It hits.
Oh, it does okay, cool.
Yep.
Can someone roll the damage for me too? Yeah.
And you're still raging, so...
Oh, that's a 10.
Yeah.
She's a 10.
So,
alright, cool.
Kind of expertly, because you're familiar with how to use the pike and all that, you kind of spin it in place, and then you use the full momentum of spinning it. You do a 360 and kind of hit the side of it and kind of cut this huge gash along its chest.
Mm-hmm.
Normally a piercing weapon, you're able to sometimes even use it in a slashing motion, and you do cut across him.
Satisfying.
He is.
That'll be it for Viet.
Cool. Something weird's going on with my thing. What's going on? Hang on.
After this round, guys, I'm going to have to get off because the boys are starting to play up. I can hear them.
Okay, no worries.
So, but if I do get off early, you guys can steer Viet. He's not very hard to play. It's just stab with a stick.
Pretty much. That's what I was going to say. All you've done so far is just hit enemies with a stick, with a pike. So that's something pretty easy to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. All right, Sharkbite. You look up from your reading, and
Well,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't. I'd just keep on reading.
Okay, so you keep on reading.
I'm just standing there in some kind of trance, just waddling, rocking back and forth.
Still doing the same blade ward.
Yeah.
Cool. So nothing else, just that?
No, that's it.
Okay.
The old man reading a piece of paper in the middle of a zombie
attack. Red Sand. You're comfortable on your perch. It's like your little sniper's nest. Let's see. Oh, what's going on? Where's my... There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. I will say, for the purposes of this...
Sorry, me, is it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I'll go for the same one.
This is the most damage so far. That one.
Yep.
Yeah. So go for it. Take a shot. Again, you hit it square in the chest. It's looking worse, if possible, than it was before, but it's still not quite dead yet.
God damn it!
Well, dead, I guess,
Well,
if that's...
yeah.
Yeah. They're already dead. They're just... Yeah. There's like 3 stages of dead. There's dead, dead, and... No,
Very
there's
dead.
deadish, dead, and... Yeah. Alright, Elryn.
Sorry, guys. I'm
yeah.
gonna have to get. I'm gonna have to get off now.
That's right.
Sorry to bail early.
All
Enjoy
good,
the
man.
rest of the night. Yeah.
Oh, good.
See you guys. I'll see you.
Thanks.
Tash.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, guys. It was
Yeah.
fun. Catches.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll probably just do the same thing as well. Keeping these zombies away.
Excellent.
Yay! And that's the one, this one here.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to reset my refresh my screen. It's acting really weird. This one here, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so for 5 damage. Okay. You kind of hit it at the back of its skull, and you just see this huge chunk of what's left of its head has come off, and you see this huge gash from where you struck it. But it kind of like looks like you've dazed it a bit, but yeah, you can't really tell because they always look dazed. Percy. Infuriatingly, this zombie just will not seem to die
Again.
again.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and take my old faithful and just chop at it.
Yeah, you've given up the attempt of hitting. Well, if you're just going for normal strike, that hits.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just more difficult if you were specifically going for the head. The difficulty's higher. But if you're just giving up and just like striking out with your axe, that hits.
Yeah.
So yeah, a mixture of anger and anxiety is just causing you just to go in absolute like a maniac and just chopping and cleaving at the zombie in front of you. Bits of its flesh and all that's actually flying off as you pull the axe back from hitting it. As you take a breath for a moment from hitting it, it then tries to take a swipe at you. Oh, does 15 hit?
No.
No. Because the impacts from your axe is actually throwing it off a bit, and it's like its aim is thrown off as well, so it's having trouble actually getting at you and speak. What's Viet's save? Okay. So the other zombies, the one that's attacking Viet, tries to make a strike. Doesn't hit. The other 3 zombies, each one trying to... 2 of them are going to try and attack... excuse me. That snuck up on me. The 2 of the zombies, the surrounding Sharkbite, each are going to try and make a strike on him. But thankfully, there's one on either side, so they both get a flanking attack. So advantage. First one. Does 19 hit Sharkbite?
Yes.
Okay, so you take 2 bludgeoning damage.
All right.
From the first zombie. That kind of throws you off a bit because they haven't hit you yet, and until this one manages to.
Well, it looks like it should, but then when it impacts him, it doesn't really seem to impact him, and a bit of smoke comes out of his jacket.
Yeah. So it doesn't do the full damage, correct?
Yes.
It just does half the damage. So that 2 is like normally it would be 4, but it's 2.
Was
So-
deducted off my temporary health.
And then while this is going on, the other one then tries to take a swing at you. And does a 17 hit.
Yes.
Again, you take another 2 damage.
Some more smoke comes out.
Yep. And then inexplicably the other one, while this is all going on, the third one goes for Salty.
Actually, whilst he's on my shoulder, that's the only situation where you can't target him.
Okay. So he's just going to go for a strike at old Sharkbite altogether.
Which, honestly, probably would be better if they targeted the parrot.
Well, the last one misses.
He'll live through anything.
Yeah, funny enough, it was going to go for the bird, but then you just like, I don't think so, and it just grasps its head dead air. Alright, so now it's Viet's turn. He's just going to go and take a swing at the zombie in front of him. Does hit, in fact. 7 plus 2 is 9 damage. So after the previous attack, then he pulls the pike back and then just lunges forward in a quick thrust and just, again, pierces through the chest, breaking the rib cage and wrap back out the other end. Then old Sharkbite. These zombies hit you, man.
The 2 hits. Logically, I can do that again. So I'll just keep doing the same thing.
Okay. So you just, don't pay it too much mind and just go back because you're totally focused on reading.
Well, they haven't
stuff.
really hurt me at all yet.
No. More of a
Due to
nuisance than
my
anything.
strange voodoo.
The voodoo that you do. Red Sand. Brad. Let's see. Whoop, yeah. So, you there, Brad? Must be AFK for the moment. That's okay.
Somebody's got him.
Somebody's got him, yeah.
I'm
So I'll
still
just.
here. Sorry, I'm
Oh, that's alright.
just had a couple of big days and dozing.
Right, okay. So, so it's your go. This one up here is the most damaged.
Okay, I will fire on that one then.
Okay. Okay, so you hit it. Gets it right, like, just below the neck, like the collarbone area. And it goes halfway in and almost looks like it's jutting out the other end. It looks like it's a killing blow. But again, that old favourite, Undead Fortitude. Yeah. It stumbles for a second, looking like it's about ready to keel over, and then it just, like, remains standing. Damn, they're pretty resilient, these bloody zombies. Is there anything else Red Sand wishes to do, or she's just happy perched up there? Alright. Elryn.
Yeah, I'm still gonna attack the same one.
Sure, go for it. Seaweed rip, whip.
Yeah.
Damn, it's not a natural 20. I was going to say, damn. Alright, cool. So you do hit.
And one.
Another one. You take off the other pinky.
Oh my gosh. Right.
So,
Alright.
alright.
My turn.
Alright, cool. Sweet. So, Percy. So it is now Percy.
I'm just going to try and hit the same one that's in front of me.
Sure thing. Go for it. And you hit. Big target, so it's not hard to hit. Oh, that was brutal. You seem to get it right in the really valuable part. If there is any, if a zombie does have something considered valuable, but it's enough to pretty much almost take it down. You feel like it could have been the killing blow, but it just stumbles for a sec and then it remains standing. With that, it turns and then tries to take a strike at you. Try being not the word. Oh, it's 18 hit.
Yeah, little rat.
So it kind of uses the momentum of you hitting it, and it swings its arm around and just kind of smacks you into the side of your shoulder, and does 4 bludgeoning damage.
Imagine if we had a cleric.
10, 9, 8.
Imagine. And then the one attacking Viet tries to attack. Oh, also hits Viet. But because he's raging, it only takes half the damage. And then the other zombies, the two that are flanking Sharkbite, both make an attack. The first one misses, but the other one doesn't. It I guess hits you, but doesn't hit you, and you only receive 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
That's like half from 4. So, and then the last one is going to make an attack on you as well, but doesn't quite strike. Then Viet makes a strike at the pretty much the dead one, and just pulls his pike back and then hits the same spot that Red Sand's arrow hit, and kind of pushes the arrow and his pike straight through, taking it out in a finishing blow. Sharkbite. You are still going to be reading your parchment, and you're still doing your Blade Ward spell?
Yes, but
Okay.
what I did realize is my bird can actually attack. So he'll, after being buffeted around, just, gripping onto my shoulder, seemingly get annoyed and fly over here and harry the zombie over here.
Question. Because he flew away, does that mean the zombies can attack of opportunity?
Oh, it could. If he flies straight up, does that count?
That's still technically moving out of combat.
It might.
Yeah.
I mean, if it feels like he's going to get killed by 3 zombies by moving, then it's probably not a wise move.
Yeah. There's 3 of them. The chances that one of them might hit him as he's leaving would...
If that's the case, then...
Yeah. They would get an attack of opportunity. Well, it's hard. It's kind of hard to think of as in 3-dimension when you're looking at it from top down, like bird's eye view. But you'd imagine even if you flew up, you still got that moment of where he's flapping his wings, and one of them could just react to that and take a swing. So he decides against.
He doesn't do much. He just...
I mean, he could still technically attack one of the zombies that's surrounding Sharkbite.
Not whilst he's on my shoulder.
No, okay.
It's sort of like he just zones out.
Oh yeah, okay. He's like recharging.
Kind of.
All right, Red Sand, Brad. The numbers are slowly declining. The one attacking Percy is almost dead. I reckon one more shot would kill it. The one surrounding Sharkbite. This one here. This one's the one that's pretty much. Yeah.
Yep. Let's save Percy.
Alrighty. Okay, so you hit it.
Maybe not
Hey?
Maybe not with that damage.
No, it's enough to actually take it down to 0, but, the old
I shake my fist at it to make it fall over.
Shit. It might actually work this time. Let's
Yeah.
see. Oh, Jesus Christ! Everyone's like been like successful. Yeah, you take a shot at it, and it actually enters the actual gash that Percy made before, and you just see this arrow protruding halfway out of like this open wound. You're just not having luck taking these things down in the first strike. It always seems to have to be a follow-on strike with these things. You can imagine Red Sand's just sitting there, and she's trying to control herself, but she's like gripping onto the bow that little bit tighter, trying to restrain herself from just venting out at the moment. But yeah, Elryn, I'm assuming you're going to try the same move, or
Yeah. I don't really want to engage with them, so.
Do that sea
away.
magic.
For those poor, unfortunate souls.
it hits just.
And four.
Hey,
Is he gone now?
nah.
Read whip.
You read whip. Okay, Stewie. You do hit it on the back this time, and decent sized scar, like gash runs down the center of its back. But yeah, it's still relatively intact. It's getting closer and closer with each strike, but yeah, it's not really affecting it as much as what you were probably hoping.
Right.
So that was it for Elryn.
Yeah.
Percy, you see this arrow come from behind you, hitting the zombie in front of you in the open wound that you gave it before. It's still standing. This is quite vexing. Do you wish to attack it, or?
I'm gonna try and get its head off.
Okay.
Probably not gonna work.
No.
Terrible.
You try and take the initiative from the arrow strike, but yeah, it fails miserably, and you just don't even get like halfway up its chest with the axe. You miss, unfortunately. And using that momentum, the zombie then tries to lunge at you. It's just acting on it's always been on instinct, but now it's just reacting to the movement in front of it. It tries to take a strike back at you, but all the damage is taken. It's ineffective. So the other three zombies that's surrounding Sharkbite, one of them actually breaks ranks. Now, Sharkbite, you can attempt to make an attack of opportunity if you wish. Does Sharkbite wish to do that, or is he just going to ignore it? Because it is going to actually
whack him with the torch, I guess.
All right, so you make an attack with your torch.
Does that count as a club?
I will say yes.
Because then I have proficiency, but it's still a strength weapon. So, let me see. I'll just roll.
So you've been holding onto this torch the whole time, have you?
Yeah, torch and piece of paper.
Okay. I will say you roll it as a club, but it'll also deal an additional 1 fire damage.
Right.
You hit.
So then it's 1d4 minus 1.
Right. And then add 1 because of the fire. Oh.
So it's 1 fire.
One fire. It's like,
Actually, I think as per the rules, the minimum damage you can deal is 1, but it turns it into non-lethal damage.
Yeah.
That could be an old rule from other editions, actually.
I've never actually come across that rule before, but
nothing deals 0 damage in 5th edition.
No, so I'll say it will do 1 damage, whether it's from the clubbing or from the actual fire.
Alright.
So it breaks away.
My crippling... But my
bones
break.
Goes to Elryn. And Because it's like getting sick and tired of like having two of its pinkies removed and getting slapped in the back with seaweed. So it breaks ranks and makes its way to Elryn and then makes a strike at her and completely misses.
Hey.
Damn it. Alright.
Too slippery.
Too slippery. The other two zombies are going to just try and take a strike at Sharkbite. First one, 22 to hit.
Yep.
Does 2 bludgeoning. I factored in the blade ward. And then the other one misses.
The smoke that was sort of dissipating from underneath his garments sort of stops.
Ah, okay.
It's like whatever might have been burning under there has run out.
Okay. So Viet moves forward, kind of moves up here, takes a strike at this zombie here with his pike. All hits. Hey! Jesus Christ. So that plus rage is 16 damage. No way. So, hang on. My brain just broke. 1 sec. Oh man, that's no way. So, nah, it's dead. Even the zombie's resilience can't hold off against a piercing strike from a pike, and it just almost cleans it in two. It destroys the spine, and you just see it cut in two and just drops to the ground. Sharkbite.
So Sharkbite scrunches up the paper or just holds it in his hand as he opens his coat and stuff for a second and actually puts the torch inside his coat for a second. Looks like he's trying to light something. I mean, Vite's probably close enough to hear the sizzle of like a fuse or something from beneath the coat, like a wick burning or something.
Yeah, he's a bit perplexed.
And then he closes the coat and shakes it a little bit, and some of the smoke comes back. What do I roll? 4 plus 4. I need to set up my macros. 7. All right. And some of that smoke starts coming back from underneath the road.
Okay. So what's this 7 for?
It's my temp health.
So you get temp health.
Yep.
Can't speak English. All right. So Red Sand. Now one of the zombies is directly underneath you. It's just underneath the actual entry of the chapel, so you can't actually attack it with your bow. The only way you can actually go for it is if you jump down and directly face it. So, you there, Brad?
Yes.
So you still got this one that's still moving, and then you got this one up here. And like I said, this one here it's at an angle where you can't actually get the bow and arrow. You'd have to actually jump down to face it to actually inflict any damage.
Well, one of her favourite stories of Padfoot.
Which one is that?
Death from Above.
Ah, okay. Sure. So what, you're going to jump and in midair shoot at it?
No, just use a rapier. So draw the rapier, Death from Above. I may have to climb up and get my... Oh, why did I double click that?
Well, you always take the first roll.
Thank you.
Yeesh. Damn. All right. So you do kind of like jump down in a kind of swift, like backflip, double twist. Manage to like strike at it from behind. It was cool. And you're thinking, I so wish Padfoot could see me right now. All right. Is there anything else you wish to do, Red Sand, or was that it?
That's it.
All right, Elryn. You're looking at the zombie that's ready to inflict damage, and then you see Red Sand jump behind it and just strike at it with his rapier.
Nice. Okay, considering it's that close and it's currently in my personal space,
Which is a no-no.
Melee attacks have advantage now that I'm flanking it.
Yeah, so you can do an attack with advantage if you... Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh! Primal magic to cause your teeth and fingernails to sharpen. Make a melee spell attack against one creature within... Whoa. On a hit, it takes 1d10... Damn, okay. Roll for it. Roll to do the damage.
Yeah, a Triton Piranha.
Wait. This one's doing the weird critical thing here.
Oh, did you want to fix it?
I'll fix it.
Alright,
You still hit with it, I guess.
Yeah. Even the 4 itself was enough to do damage to take it out, but it's got that undead bloody so far plus.
Where did you click that from? Was that the top one, the primal savagery thing?
That was from my character sheet.
Yes. But did you click that?
And spell casting.
Okay.
It looked like it was about ready to die, like to fall, but then, like so many of its, I don't know, cousins or fellow undead creatures, it fights off the impending death. Percy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna try again.
So try for the head or just a general attack? Because this thing is, it's barely standing up.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just try like a general attack. I just thought they couldn't die if you didn't hit them in the head.
No. It's like they can die in one blow if you got them in the head, almost, depending on how much damage you actually did.
Okay, that makes sense now. I'll just try and hit it in general.
Yep.
Okay, mate. That was a natural one. So technically I have, let me just check my thing. When you roll a 1 on an attack roll, you can re-roll the dice and must use the new roll. So I'm going to re-roll.
Okay, lucky you got that. But that hits.
Awesome.
So you take the initial swing, and it misses in such an awkward way that it's almost comical, and you kind of quickly look around hoping no one saw it, and luckily the zombie didn't actually react to it, and you're like, I'm going to try again. And this time you take another strike. It's just almost like less clumsy than the first one, but it hits, and this one actually deals the death blow, and you can't cleave it in from its hip across its chest. Like if you hit it on its left side, it goes across its chest and kind of comes out the shoulder of its opposite side. So you almost cleaved it in two, and it just kind of splits open and then drops to the ground.
Oh.
Yay! So then the remaining zombies, the one that's currently being assailed on both sides, it will still take a strike at Elryn.
Oh.
Not with a 4, on a natural 1. I will say that because of that, because of the fact that it's been attacked on two sides, it'll actually fall prone.
Yay.
So, yeah, it's basically tripping over its own 2 feet, and it's just dropped to the ground.
Triple.
Sweet. Double
Get him,
advantage
boys.
next time.
Then the other zombie, the one that's still intact, it has not been touched at all. This whole thing has not been touched. It kind of feels left out. Takes a strike at Red Sand. Not Red Sand. Sharkbite. Not with that.
Whenever there's a massive enemies like this, we always get to the point where there's one left standing and it's been untouched.
Yeah. Not anymore, because it misses attack on old Sharkbite, and then Viet comes over and takes a strike at it. Hits on an 18. And 10 plus 2, so it does 12 total damage. Why aren't you typing? There we go. You just see Viet kind of charge forward and just raising up the pike, just like lunges forward, and it just goes through the sternum and out through the other end. And then he just pulls it back. Old Sharkbite.
Well, now that there's only the one there, I've already kind of stopped the chanting. I'll just put the piece of paper away and I'll say, and with the rest of the damned, be gone with ye. And I'll draw my ritual dagger and just try and plunge it into its chest.
Cool.
Oh, why the fuck did I... I haven't rolled anything in this entire game except for the one thing, so I've just had advantage since last session.
There you go.
I can re-roll that. I don't want.
I'll take the first one. So I'll take the 20. Well, either one's hit. Either one's a hit.
Oh, true.
So yeah, it doesn't matter. Go away.
Damage 3. Lovely old 3 dagger damage. And I don't think Jones is the type to continue an assault, so I'll just stab that in his chest and leave it there.
Oh, was it with my last breath I stab at thee? He's your Moby Dick.
With my many continuous breaths.
Red Sand.
Okay. Once more with advantage.
Yep, and you kill it.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Now to take the advantage off.
So you pretty much just raise your rapier up and you just stab forward and you get it right in the back of the head and it's just like, and then you just shrink and it just drops to the ground. Alright. Elryn, it is your go. There is still one zombie standing. It is being attacked by Viet and Sharkbite.
Okay, I guess I will do and for safe distance and
You hit. It burns! It burns!
yay!
Wait, why does it say acid for?
Oh,
Because it deals acid.
Does it? Oh, okay. I thought it did piercing.
That's piercing for Reed.
No.
Either way,
change something else. I might
I
have
don't know.
accidentally.
No, didn't you play around with primal savagery?
Yeah, because that one deals acid.
Yeah. I mean, she's doing really well.
Wait.
Either way, it does the
Really?
damage.
Okay, whatever.
So it doesn't really matter. Don't worry, it's just me picking at things for some reason. Percy.
Wait, what?
Just I don't know
It's
wait,
normal
what?
in there. It's not filled in. What does Reed Whip do? Piercing?
Piercing.
Maybe it's
yeah,
because it was the last damage time.
maybe.
Don't worry.
So Percy, you are now no longer under threat from any close enemies. You are free to move around. There is still one standing, but he's not got much longer to go because he has been attacked by 3 individuals now.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it 4 and try and shoot him with my longbow. I don't
Excellent.
want to get any closer and risk getting hurt more.
Sure, go for it. Just don't roll a 1.
Oh, that wasn't me. I was like, I don't think I pressed it.
Oh, no. That's all right. I was Cory's trying something. Yeah, your longbow does hit.
Awesome.
So you let loose an arrow. Can't talk. And you hit a weak point in its skull, and it just you actually the impact, the force and the impact of the arrow kind of just sends it snaps the head back, and you just see it just pushes the body back for like a little bit, and then it just collapses to the ground, and he does not move. And with that, all the undead have been dealt with.
Wow.
All the undead are re-dead.
The undead are re-dead.
Dead.
So after taking a brief moment to kind of collect your thoughts and all that, some of you are a bit like wounded, not like some more than others, but not to a serious degree. And as you begin looking over the bodies, you actually notice that one of them appears different to the others. In terms of, you notice that this one in particular has the remains of bindings on its legs, on its wrists and legs, as opposed to the others, which do not.
What kinds of binding? Like rope?
It looks like the remains of rope, like the actual rope. Like they're still like tied around their the actual ankles and all that, but they're not tied together or anything like that. It looks like just over time that the ropes kind of gotten frail and decayed a bit to the point where they can actually snap, but they're actually still there.
Ropey Ron, the pirate.
I'm guessing that one's from this grave that's off to the side.
Correct.
Well, I would assume that's like the mutineer or something, because that's what they were talking about, right? Or somebody who went crazy.
Well, yeah, that's one possibility. I mean, it's, like from what you've read in the book so far. I will say, either red sand, roll a history check. You're still getting over how cool you looked for Padfoot.
Did you see me? Did you see me?
It's like, even though Padfoot's not there. No. So. But yeah, you still got
recover some arrows.
Yeah, sure. I will say, like, how many did you fire? Actually?
I think I fired 7 altogether.
So I will say you get half of those back, surrounded up. So you get 5 back.
Okay.
So you get damaged. 2 of them get damaged when they got
Nice.
damaged beyond repair when they actually hit the bodies.
Nice.
So I'll get like if you wish, because when you spot the actual fact that the zombie seems to have bindings on it, you can make a investigation.
Is that me again?
You or Sharkbite or Elryn or anyone.
Well, I wanted to go back to this tablet.
Yeah.
Come back to the guy with the bindings, but I want to know what's up with this and why they're fucking turned on all the undead.
Shall we call it there? Sorry, it's 10:30 and I'm going to have to run away again.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's fine. That actually is a good point. We'll leave it there, and we'll conclude, and we'll continue it for next session.
Yep.
Didn't even realize what time it was. But yeah, gives you good ending point, and we can continue it next session.
Very much so. Yes.
Thank you all for playing.
Thank you for running it.
No worries.
Thank you.
And yeah, I will catch you guys for the next session.
Okay.
All right.
Catch you next time.
Hey guys.
There.
Yeah.
Bye.